must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Very good morning to you, and thank you so much for finding time to be with us this morning. It is a few minutes past 9 a.m. here in Nairobi. The show is Good Morning Africa. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and thank you so much. Before I bring in my panelists this morning and go through the news-making headlines by looking at the leading newspapers here in Kenya, I'd like to bring us up to date with the latest figures of COVID-19 in the country. And we start with Kenya, and the cases right now standing at 168,543 cases. The death toll right now has topped 3,073. Recovery so far is 114,679 cases. And Uganda, the number of confirmed cases right now standing at 43,919. The death toll in Uganda is 357. Recoveries is 43,401. And then we just go to the African total cases this morning, right now standing at 4,765,208, and the number of deaths that have been reported in the continent from COVID-19 right now standing at 128,677, and recovery so far is 4,275,039 cases. And of course, those figures are subject to change because every country seems to be updating their statistics as the numbers as they receive them. So the figures there are subject to change. Thank you so much. So joining me on the panel this morning is Douglas Kirimi. Douglas, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam Ogutu, and also to my friend Jevan Karanja, to our crew at our headquarters, and also to our friends across the world. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where they're watching us from. Thank you for having me on the show, Miriam.
All right. Nice to have you this morning, and we're also joined by Jevan Karanja from Nanyuki. Jevan, a very good morning to you.
Indeed, it's a very good morning here in Nanyuki, Miriam. Thanks for having me on the show, and good morning to our viewers wherever they are watching us from. Good morning to Dr. David Masanga from the Political Command Center and my friend Douglas Kirimi. Always a pleasure being on Punchline Africa TV. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And of course, joining us again this morning is Dr. David Masanga. Doctor, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam. Thank you very much.
All right.
This is the Africa Political Command Center, not London anymore. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So I'll just read through the headlines and then we'll just get into the conversation. And the Star newspaper, the main headline this morning, Bashir wired millions to Somalia. That is according to some sources. The money sometimes moved from foreign accounts before ending up in Mogadishu. And then a split persists in DP's team as he moves to forestall fallout. And on the Standard newspaper, Ruto truce fails to stop Hasna fight. DP makes a timely intervention to end the row over Kiambaa parliamentary by-election candidate, but the vicious infighting within his political house escalates to the battle for the soul of the Hasla nation. And then we go to the Daily Nation and the main headline, help is here, I promise. Chief Justice Martha Koome pledges to transform the judiciary from a parking lot of corruption cases to a leader in accountability and integrity. All those who walk down the court corridors would go home feeling that justice has been done, she vows as she takes office. So that is what we have in the main headlines. And just up there, BBI reg is still on. Raila assures fans. Doctor, would you start it for us?
First of all, I will pick the story on the Star newspaper. Miriam, a few months ago, actually last year, we ran a story. You were there. You and I, we ran that story of money laundering in the region. How money arrives through from a certain country in the Gulf, ends up in Uganda, transferred to Kenya, wired into, or some is left in Kenya and wired into banks which help terrorism on the African continent. There you are. I don't have many words to add. It is sorry that we lost somebody, whether if there is evidence of that nature, it will come out. But for us, we raised this thing twice, actually. Even when the representative of the Qatar government was here meeting President Uhuru Kenyatta. You remember we talked about Qatar funding terrorism in most of the parts, including now Mozambique. And these monies were actually being spread up to Mozambique through Tanzania. And you know, details of this nature help a lot to put the government on the toes, for the government to find out why money is being channeled, washed in through African countries. Then it is sent. Then here we are. Someone has become the masterpiece of construction, masterpiece of businesses, masterpiece of even buildings. There is another story which is coming out, which is very dangerous. The story of who is supporting the rebels in Sudan. The rebels, Miriam, who are wrecking the peace. Somebody in Kenya, somebody somewhere in Kenya, East Africa, in Uganda, someone is supporting National Salvation Army rebels that wreck the peace of the government of national unity in Juba. This person is benefiting from their money, illicit money that was dumped in here, where they bought buildings in partnership. There's something that is going wrong. But all in all, I am very pleased now that a newspaper like The Star has come out with such allegations. We have lost a life, yes, maybe, maybe not. It is up to the police and FBI and other people. Is an American national. The FBI definitely will come in, and the FBI doesn't tell a lie. They might have been tracing him if he has records back there of radicalism, of belonging to radical group. All his telephone conversations will tell. So we are proud as journalists at times to blow out a story. At that time, 6 months ago, when we said there was money coming out that is helping terrorism in that area, Miriam, we were laughed at, said we were fake. Now you can see the results of fakeness has come to reality. Thank you very much. This morning, that's the story I came in to put you, to say my words. So thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And just to add on what Dr. Aditya has said, according to this story, the slain Somali-American businessman Bashir Mohammed Mahmoud was on the intelligence system radar for receiving and sending huge sums of money to Somalia. Kenyan government officials said he had first received millions of shillings from a top Somali government official before he channeled it back to various different banks. The money, according to officials, sometimes moved from foreign accounts before sending it in Mogadishu, which raised suspicion, and state sources said Bashir was related to a top Somali government official, hence the trusted money connection. And so investigations are ongoing. So I don't know if there's anybody in the panel, Douglas.
Miriam, at the end of the day, nobody negotiates with the terrorists, not even America, that counts itself as a democratic nation and the leader of the free world. And also, or medium, another perspective that we need to see is that
Okay.
if
Douglas, your reception is not very good.
the same Bashir that people are sympathizing with not be sympathized.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, Miriam. Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's clear now. Go ahead.
What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, we cannot sympathize with a terrorist, a person that has been linked to the terrorism in this country, because we understand firsthand what terrorism has done to our nation, what these sympathizers and funders of terrorism have been able to do to our nation. Miriam, at the end of the day, there are people who have funded terrorism and continue roaming around the world who have been able to bomb our country at some point in their lives. And this person has been able to be linked to the terrorism in Mogadishu and other terrorism activities in the region. We cannot be able to sympathize with him at this point, Miriam. He is a citizen of America. America should come and correct their human and also be able to tell us more about him. Because at the end of the day, Miriam, we are a democratic nation, but we cannot continue hiding and also sympathizing with the terrorists in the name of investors who are coming to invest in our country. It is the same monies that they come to invest in our country that destabilizes and also continues defranchising us as a people. If he bombed our country today, we could not be talking the same way we are talking today, Miriam. So like Putin says, we do not sympathize with the terrorists. Even America itself do not sympathize with the terrorists, including that their own citizen, Miriam. Maybe it is America that killed him. We don't know. But at the end of the day, Miriam, any extremist or any sympathizer or fan of terrorism should not be spared, because, Miriam, we understand the scourge of terrorism when the effects are directly on the people of Kenya. And at the end of the day, Miriam, I have nothing to apologize, because there are so many lives and so many families that have been destabilized with these terrorism activities, and especially what has been done by this man. And also these politicians in our country, Miriam, who have been linked to this man, who has been the man that has been funding terrorism activities in Mogadishu, should be investigated, Miriam. They should be investigated thoroughly to see if there is a connection with what is happening in this country, Miriam. As I conclude, William Ruto has been linked with this man several times. Pictures as being splashed online and the people are accusing him of all manner of things. I'm calling on my brother DCI Kinoti to come out very clearly and investigate terrorism activities even in our political gatherings and also political funding. Because, Miriam, terrorism and political funding are intertwined, and this man is linked to William Ruto. I cannot be able to spare him this morning because, Miriam, our country is at stake. Our national security is at stake. These terrorist activities should be, we have to see if these terrorism activities are linked to political funding that has been happening to Tangatanga movement. This kind of defiance and this kind of things that have been happening around Miriam. Kinoti should come out clearly as the DCI himself and investigate our politicians who have been linked to this man, Miriam. We cannot spare our national security in the name of a terrorist that was killed under the line of his own duty, Miriam. As I conclude my point, William Ruto should be investigated because this man has been linked with this man that has been killed several times. We have to sanitize our country, and our national security is bigger than William Ruto, Miriam. I submit.
Okay. Javan Karanja.
Thank you very much, Miriam. You know, and I agree with the statements made by Dr. Masanga and what Douglas is saying. But Miriam, you know, terrorism is something that wreaks havoc. It's something that threatens the humanity. Therefore, it's not be spared no matter who is involved in it. Therefore, on this issue, Miriam, I don't have much to say, but I would like the DCI and the other relevant authorities to come in speed and ensure that anybody who is linked to this man, anybody who is linked to terrorism in this country, they are taken to bar, they are taken to a court of law, so that people can start seeing that terrorism is not a good thing. Therefore, on that issue, Miriam, people should come out clear as the DCI and the intelligence officer and tell us why this man was killed, what did he do, What did he know? So that we can also have the right information. But I agree that DCI is doing a good job. I saw yesterday in our televisions that investigations are ongoing, so that we can have a clear information on what was going on. And maybe if this guy was linked to terrorism, even we can know more on who are behind, who are funding him and who are funding these terror activities in our region. That, Miriam, I beg to submit. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. So we'll just look at another headline on... Okay, we apologize. We apologize for that mishap there. We apologize for that. All right, very well. The Standard newspaper, the main headline, Ruto, at truce fails to stop hustler fight. DP makes a timely intervention to end the row over Kiambaa parliamentary by-election candidate, but the vicious infighting within his political house escalates to the battle of the soul of the hustler nation. Doctor?
Is something that you cannot rule out. But is there, I have been very honest and I've been telling the Deputy President the truth. On this one, he's gonna gamble until he is left with no money. Moses Kuria, according to Matsanga, is my friend. I am the one who has removed him from bail. When he's taken to industrial area, people neglected him. I went and paid my money. Moses Kuria likes money so much that to the extent that Moses Kuria went to buy witnesses for 2,000 shillings in order to fix Ruto. You remember Moses Kuria coming up on national television saying that he bought witnesses for 2,000 shillings. He paid them 2K to come and allege several things in the work envelope, in the work report. I am not surprised when you see the push and the pull between Gachagua and Moses Kuria. The show has come to the reality that Gachagua now is being regarded as a man from Nyeri who should not come to interfere in Kiambu politics. Gachagua is married from Kiambu, and believe me or not, the man that is fielding in the New DA is his brother-in-law. So it is about time, and it's the BBI is, the appeal is, the ruling is overturned, and the reggae starts to play. I predict that UDA will be in, because up to now, Ruto is standing on the fence. He's claiming he's very Mr. Hey, I want people to be together. I want people to talk consensus, while at night he's dividing Uhuru Kenyatta. You know, at the night he's fielding a candidate. Jubilee Party, where Uhuru Kenyatta has a say, has fielded a candidate. He has also now fielded a candidate. And he's saying his party is fielding a candidate. Openly, his people are saying so. So let this court issue go away. Then we bring in the real reggae. Then we know we want Ruto to state, does he like it or not? These maneuvers, Miriam, yesterday, I was very impressed with, I don't know whether you will touch the new Chief Justice in the second part, but I might not be there. I was impressed by the way the new Chief Justice sidelined Nelson Harvey. I was very impressed by the way he brought a spokesman to do the work. That is, if she's going to work that way, sideline some busybodies like Nelson Harvey. If you gave Nelson Harvey to speak at that ceremony, it would have spoiled the whole mood. So these are people in the UDA who have gone there for the sake of money, Miriam. They have not gone there for the sake of supporting William Ruto. They have gone there because William Ruto has money to pump out every minute, and is pumping out money. So they are eating it. If you find them in hotels when William Ruto is not there, they say, Matanga, why do you always fight us? Will you pay us our bills? You know, if someone tells you that way, that will you pay us our bills, Matanga? And then I say, okay. I don't have any bill to pay. I don't have the money to pay you. So I keep quiet. But the truth is here. And let it be known that it is the question of money, not principle. UDA will collapse. Thank you.
The question of money, not principle. Now, the Deputy President William Ruto's timely intervention, notwithstanding the vicious fights within his political camp, escalated to the battle for the soul of the Hustler Nation. DP Ruto convinced the Gatundu South Member of Parliament Moses Kuria to withdraw his People's Empowerment Party candidate from the Kiambaa mini poll, but the bitter taste this left in the former's camp further stoked the war of words. So will the soul of the Hustler Nation be recovered? I see Professor has joined us, and we also have another panelist this morning, Kamau Gashuhi. Oh, he's left. Okay, Professor, go ahead. Good morning.
Good morning to Miriam and my fellow panelists. Meet the picture.
So we're looking at I know this is not a story you love talking about so much, but it is the headlines that DP Ruto fails to stop infighting. But Doctor has given us a very interesting perspective there when it comes to Gatundu South Member of Parliament. The soul of the Hustler Nation has nothing to do with principles. It is money.
Yeah, thank you, Miriam, for that question. But that's exactly the kind of perspective I gave yesterday. When parties are formed, they are formed under, you must have a philosophy, you must have an ideology, you must have something you believe in. And if I have to advise, the DB must keep off Kiambu, because the politics of this country are tribal, are regional, are local. So if at all they thought they had their day in Chucha and the PBR their day in Chucha, and since if they have got the same thinking, then it doesn't matter who put the candidate there. If Moses Kuria and Uda are the same thing, it doesn't matter. So on that here is that it is only about chest thumping. It is about embarrassing and humiliating the president because that's his backyard. And imagine how it could have been, Miriam, if it could have been a UDA which could have taken Chucha. So be it as it may, Miriam, these people don't have an ideology. That's number one. That's how serious parties are formed. It is either, Miriam, you are a social-democrat, you are a communist, you are a conservative. There's no two ways that you can pretend to be one. UDA is neither one of them, Miriam, because these are people who are fond of making deals. So when you see people struggling and fighting the other, and I know if People's Empowerment Party will be allowed to fail in Kiambu, you know, he's the man who will be going to Hustler Nation house to bring money. So these other characters may not receive money. That's Miriam, you can be able to see people fighting, and it is basically money. It is basically money, the money which is coming for the campaign. If it is this party which is campaigning, it is the one which will be financed. So if it will be UDA, then that's where you will be able to see Kinakimani Chungo, this Muthungu, also trying to have money, going to get money from the deputy president. But if it will be People's Empowerment Party, who will be given money? Moses Kuria. So basically, this Miriam is who will have an opportunity to go and get money and achieve the vice president, the deputy president, and have the money. That's what I have to submit to Miriam, and that's how I see it.
Okay, thank you so much. So let's just perhaps go into another story also that Doctor mentioned there earlier to do with the BBI. And on page 6 of the Standard newspaper, BBI office files appeal, raises 16 issues. And Orange Democratic Movement leader Raila Odinga has launched his fight for the Building Bridges initiative by seeking to suspend the High Court order that stopped the constitutional referendum. Raila and the BBI Secretariat have raised 16 key issues to challenge the decision by the 5 High Court judges that stopped the constitutional amendment process, a key being that the judges accept the wishes of millions of Kenyans who are yearning for a constitutional change. And in the application before the Court of Appeal filed by lawyer Paul Mwangi, the former Prime Minister wants the Appellate Court to suspend the order that stopped the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission from conducting the referendum and allow the process to conclude. In the same way, IEBC conducted the Juja, Bonchari, and other by-elections that we've seen in this country, and the court said they were not properly constituted. So that has brought us a constitutional crisis, and even the IEBC itself have gone to court to challenge that ruling. So are we likely to see this forming one of the grounds perhaps of the BBI team to have the Court of Appeal overrule over what the High Court order gave there a couple of days ago? Dr. Matsanga.
Miriam, thank you very much. Any of you who has read my piece in a very strong piece that I made, I'm not a lawyer, but by profession, but I'm a framework political scientist who sees the framework of law and the constitutionalism. I can interpret any judgment on planet Earth. My statement was very clear. I raised 5-6 grounds where the judges erred. 6 good grounds. So if you can pick that statement, all of you cannot say I did not send it to you. Professor, I sent that statement out. I think you have gone through it. If you have not gone through it, I will send it to you. It is very clear that from the day one, the ruling of the 5 judges, they set us on another the third channel. Miriam, the third channel is, do you know what the third channel is? Anarchy. There are 2 ways of changing a constitution in your constitution. 2 ways, parliament and a popular initiative. What the judges brought out on that day is uprising channel. You know, they told you, the judges said, you cannot touch this constitution, but you are in a chaos, you're in a crisis. So if you can't touch the constitution, if you can't touch the basic structure, the constitution became the 10 commandments that Onyari preaches to us as a champion. Abide by not this, by that, by that. So if the constitution becomes the 10 commandments, then the country goes to an uprising. That is the channel. When you are analyzing this, that is why the appellate court will overturn the entire. Then they went further. Let me tell you how they did it. They went further and put us in a coma of 21 grounds that if one of them succeeds, the entire bill of BBI collapses. Have you seen where you are pushing people to a wall? If one succeeds to go to appeal court, it means the entire bill collapses. We have to go back to drawing board number 1. If you didn't know. Then they went further. If you look at this, if I were a Kenyan like a Karanja and a Dr. Onyari, this is the point for me to pick up popularity. And unfortunately, I'm not a Kenyan. I would have gone to court, to a high court now. and blocked all these guys and asked the High Court to tell me whether the judges did not lie. The judges lied. Article 143 of your constitution, Miriam, speaks clearly that you cannot sue a president, a sitting president of the Republic of Kenya. Article 143 is very clear. Then the judges came in daytime, broad time, savannah. When Mr. Karanja was still looking, he was sipping his orange juice in Nanyuki, listening to crap coming out of crap mouth, saying the judges, Kenyans have a right to sue the president, even in his personal capacity. Read Article 143, because we don't want to come on this show when we are not well equipped. We must come when we are well equipped. And this is, we don't want to mislead people. Article 143 of the Kenyan Constitution, very clear about the president. You can't sue him. A sitting president cannot be sued, either in his capacity or in the capacity of the president. No. So you advise the Kenyans, didn't you lie? If I were Karanja, who is Wanjiku, I would have now gone to the JSC, written to the JSC to summon the 5 judges to show cause why they should not be removed from the court. Why they should not be removed from the judiciary. Why the president should not sit. You know, we are fighting with quite a lot of difficulties. And we have forgotten that this is a country we have no time. Therefore, I would suggest a Kenyan should move to court. And that Kenyan should move to court earlier like a Karanja and a Professor Nyari. I will draft the document. You go to JSC and get there. You will make a name for yourself to remove these liars. They lied. I submit.
All right. Thank you so much. Now, also, Odinga argued that the judges stopped an non-existent initiative because the BBI Steering Committee for the implementation of the BBI Task Force report ceased to be in existence in June 2020 and was therefore incapable of promoting a drive to amend the Constitution, because one of the arguments and the grounds that the judges used to nullify this process, they said this committee was appointed by the president, so it was working on behalf of the state, and therefore that is why they were bringing the argument that this process was started by President Uhuru Kenyatta. But according to Raila, he's saying this steering committee ceased to exist in 2020, June there, and it has not been actively promoting this process. Douglas Kirimi.
William, at the end of the day, we all know that the judges were very biased because in the 40 list of the judges that the president did not appoint.
At 1. You want me to come at what time?
Yes, Miriam. The 40 judges that were to be appointed by the president received a report from the National Intelligence Services that showed that some of these judges could not be appointed as judges of a court of appeal. And some of these judges were so biased. When you look at the judgment, Miriam, when they ruled that the committee was formed by the president and it had ceased, the BBI Secretariat, Miriam, is very different from the task force that ceased to operate, as Raila was saying. And it is true. They can verify that. They actually know what they were doing. They knew they wanted to do activism and populism in our courts, in our judiciary, to win a few months or a few days courage from the public, which is going to be changed by the people of Kenya. And at the end of the day, the people of Kenya are determined to change their constitution. and also the Court of Appeal is going to annul that judgment or ruling. Because at the end of the day, Miriam, I have never heard the flimsy reasons that were given by these judges cannot be admitted in any court of appeal, even at Supreme Court, Miriam. Judges are waiting to be able to send this ruling packing so that the people of Kenya and their voices can be heard. The people that separated the taxi force from the BBI secretariat knew what they were doing. The other time they told, on the same judgment, they told us the president was the promoter of the bill, which the president was not. The president formed a task force to look into the historical injustices to the people of Kenya and the solutions that the people of Kenya would want the same to be admitted or would want the same to be addressed by either government or anything that they would want to do. And the people said they want a referendum, and the BBI secretariat is a promoter. Junet Mohamed and Dennis Waweru and others are promoters of this bill. So Miriam, this ruling, I have said before, this ruling was a ruling that was meant based on activism and populism, and it has nothing to do with the people of Kenya, Miriam. When you tell us that the IBC is not properly constituted, what are you telling us? What are you telling us? You are telling us what IBC did in Juja and other constituencies and other wards since 2018 was nothing. You want to send the people of Kenya back to the drawing board again? You want to tell us IBC as it is today is not properly constituted? You want to tell us IBC is illegal? Miriam, I submit on these people as I wish the people of Kenya well, because BBI is not going to be stopped by these activists and people with a tainted history. And I'm advocating for these judges who have a dark history in drugs, in drug trafficking world, and also protecting drug lords in our courts to be sent to the USA, extradited there and be tried there, because trying them in our courts will be a problem. Thank you, Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much. Also, the ODM leader and the BBI secretariat accused the High Court of deliberately ignoring evidence presented to each of the approval executed by over 3 million supporters of the Popular Initiative, who all declared that they had read and understood the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill. They added that the court ignored the evidence that it was not President Uhuru Kenyatta who was the promoter of the BBI initiative to amend the Constitution, since it was spearheaded by a separate secretariat. Jevan Karanja.
Yeah, thank you very much, Miriam. And I'll start by saying that something that I've said earlier, that when you look at the tone and of these judges, you could see judges who are bitter and have a very bad attitude towards President Uhuru Kenyatta. And you could see them referring to him as Mr. Kenyatta, Mr. Uhuru, Mr. Because these guys, they feel like President Uhuru Kenyatta has denied them an opportunity to continue or to promote them to the Court of Appeal. Therefore, some of these judges were bitter. And to some extent, they feel like through this BBI, with the Judiciary Ombudsman Office, maybe we are having a supervisor who will be looking at these judges who make some decisions that are not good. Therefore, to that extent, they feel like this BBI will curtail their wings in terms of how they do their things, because the Office of Judiciary Ombudsman will be looking at some of the decisions made by judges, whether they are right, because there are some decisions, and that is why we have Court of Appeal, because some judges make some decision out of bad, maybe they have bad blood towards you, maybe you had an experience area with them, you had an encounter with them where maybe they didn't feel well, and that they get a chance to exploit you when they're making their decision. And you could see this. And Miriam, even from the way Maraga and President Uhuru Kenyatta, the relationship that they had was all created by the judiciary, by them feeling that they are so supreme to a point where they can do everything without anybody checking on them. Therefore, we need at the Office of Judiciary Ombudsman as a supervisor, to some extent, not looking on what they are doing, but some of the decisions they make, some that Kenyans can go and appeal and maybe talk to this office and see what things can be, whether things can be done better. And Miriam, on the issue of the BBI, and this is where I disagree with these judges, they think, according to them, that President Uhuru Kenyatta is the one promoting BBI. President Uhuru Kenyatta had no intention of changing the constitution. In fact, the BBI task force was mandated to come on the ground and look to the 9-point agenda to see what else this nation. President Uhuru Kenyatta had no issue with changing the constitution. The report that they give, the report that Kenyans gave, is what Junet Mohammed and Dennis Waweru ran out with, and they came up with the BBI amendment bill, and any Kenyan could have done that. Therefore, the BBI, the people who are changing the constitution, is Dennis Waweru and Junet Mohammed. Those are the guys who corrected the signatures. I didn't see President Uhuru Kenyatta collecting the signature. In fact, he appended his signature as any other Kenyan, because President Uhuru Kenyatta, and when we go to vote, when you look at the constitution, one of the qualifications to run for the office of the president, you must be a Kenyan citizen. Therefore, President Uhuru Kenyatta appended his signature as any other Kenyan of this country. Therefore, these guys should understand that President Uhuru Kenyatta is also a Kenyan. That is why you have given him the mandate to rule this nation. Therefore, to that extent, I see biasness, I see malice, because the people who are changing the constitution, the thing that we are changing is not the task force report, is a BBI amendment bill that is being spearheaded by Dennis Waweru and Junet Mohammed. Those are the guys they could be referring to, because those are the guys who are promoting this initiative. Then, Kenyans appended their signatures, plus 4 million signatures were collected. Therefore means Kenyans were in one way or the other reading from the same, having a pattern, reading from the same mind with the guys who are promoting this constitution bill. Therefore, if 4 million Kenyans can append their signatures, and IBC verified about 1.8 million signatures and said that they were correct, therefore this shows that Kenyans are on the mood to change the constitution, and that is part of our constitution. Finally, Miriam, on the issue of IBC, the constitution says that IBC should have a minimum of 3 commissioners, that the IBC that we have now have to 9 commissioners. Therefore, when you look at this issue, the IBC it is now, it is well and is constitutionally constituted, and it can hold a referendum because they meet the constitutional threshold. These things of judiciary trying to divert our attention are saying that the IBC cannot hold a referendum. What about the previous by-elections? What about the Juja parliamentary by-election? Was it not conducted by the IBC that we have? Therefore, these courts should not be hosted by certain quarters or some of these judges trying to protect their political inclinations when they are making their decision. They should be open and direct to the point, and they should not intimidate anybody. Right. They should make sure that in public eye, justice is seen to be done. And finally, Miriam, Constitution is not a Bible. Constitution is not the Quran. Constitution is not a rigid document. It's a dynamic document, and the Constitution is made by the people. Therefore, if the people of Kenya feel that they can change Constitution, I know in the Constitution we have the protected clauses. If Kenyans can go for a referendum and agree to change those clauses, there's no problem. It's our Constitution, and Constitution is there to work for us, and we are there to work for the Constitution by making it better, and that is what we are making through the BBI process. Thank you, Miriam. I submit.
Very well said. Thank you so much. And a couple of issues there, Jevan Karanja, that you have raised, that also the BBI office is using as one of the appeals to file on this case, trying to overturn the High Court ruling. And they're saying they failed to take a note, of course, of the evidence that the BBI constitutional amendment process was initiated by Junet Mohammed and Dennis Waweru as co-chairs of the BBI Secretariat and supported by more than 3 million registered voters, Professor Jared Onyari. And as Jevan there has reminded us, when President Uhuru Kenyatta went for the handshake, a change of the constitution was not the reason why they had a handshake.
Yeah, Miriam, all that my fellow panelists have said is true. And I always say that Miriam, to organize is good. Very good. So, but it's also a good time, Miriam, we start organizing ourselves. How organized is the people from BBI, promoters of BBI, how organized are they? Miriam, there's this old man from my village. You will have a dispute with him, and the chief will come, and the people will come, and they will come, and they will scan the people who are going now to hear the case and condemn him or just pass the judgment. He will come and he will say, I don't want Chavan, I don't want Douglas, I don't want David Masanga. If chief, you want my case to go. Why? He knows very well these people will be against him. Even if the case is not true. And if the chief will insist he will walk away, then just will determine my case. So Miriam, let me just be very honest from our side. Let me tell you for the honest. These 5 charges we are castigating, those people are not fools. Those are the guys who have sat down Miriam and have researched as much as we are trying to poke holes in this judgment. These are people who are rehearsed better mind. They have not just walked on the moon and from the street and written that statement. It took time for people to plan. Why am I saying this, Miriam? We knew very well that the commissioners in IBC had resigned. Almost 2 years. Why were we not constituting it? It's not impunity for those people who are supposed to do it, the members of parliament, and those who are supposed to do it, Miriam. We also argue this properly constituted. Yes, the constitution says it's 3. But again, if you bring the element of gender, the 3 men cannot be part of the constitution. So Miriam, on our side, it is either impunity, it is either arrogant, it is either we pretend to be knowing. But from where we are, Miriam, I agree. The president meant well. That's what that one you have to understand, Miriam. And even when you go to Article 10, Miriam, these people choose to talk about participation of the people. But they don't address national unity, which the president is trying to address, which is number 10, subsection 2A. The president is supposed to is addressing national unity. They have ignored that, and they have said participation of the people. And the constitution does not say who are these people who are supposed to participate. I say, and I am on the ridge of Dr. Masanga. I have not done law, Miriam, but I've got clear understanding of the law. Because the law is written in English. It's not another language. It is in an area where you can go to interpret what the framers of this one meant. It talks about the participation of the people. Which people? The president with his brother, Raila Amolo Odinga, they said, oh, why do we fight in every 5 years, Miriam? Every election period, Miriam, women and
I seem to have suffered a technical hitch there from Professor's side. We apologize for that. Doctor?
I wish, can I come in? And
yes.
I wish you, Professor Gerard. Oh, you have come back?
Miriam, what happened to me? You are not telling me.
No, we had a bit of a... Yeah. Go ahead, and then Doctor will come. Yes, go ahead. Conclude your thought, Prof.
Yes, there's something I'm connecting this to say that it was not the intention of the president to change the constitution or Raila, Miriam. They say this at the 9-point, Miriam, and they appointed the steering committee, Miriam. Because we must start from the unknown to the known. Say, okay, let's have this committee. Raila, bring your people. William, bring your people. And it was having the face of Kenya, Miriam. Even the small Ababusi were also represented by the leader of the Wusi Elders Council. Even their mayor were represented. And everybody was represented, Miriam. Kenyans took their views, Miriam. Then we add number 1. They said now we can change the constitution. That's how the process became, Miriam. Even when you talk about public participation, Miriam, even members of the county assemblies, Miriam, when this bill was being there, it was being subjected to people's participation, Miriam. Even in the Senate, Miriam, even in the National Assembly, Miriam, even before the members of parliament debated, Miriam, they advertised for whoever had a memorandum. I saw people giving memorandum. Which public participation are you giving about? So this Miriam, there was something which was rehearsed. They say this is going to be. It is a momentum task, Miriam, for us. But what I want to say that we shall overcome, because it means well for the people of Kenya. And as Dr. Masanga puts it, even if Dr. Masanga go to file the case in that Supreme Court, Miriam, in the High Court, you will meet the same men, because the judiciary, there is no fact, there is no point to hide. They are fighting all the 3 arms of the government are fighting, Miriam. And if I use the words of the Chief Justice, Martha Koome, say some people are on a beauty contest. Some will say that we are better, but no, we are interdependent. We want to take this country. Be it as it may, how do we address the national unity? Now, they have thrown that thing. If Kenyans are going to kill each other 2022, are you going to say it is the constitution which we cannot touch? The constitution belongs to the people of Kenya. They could have identified all those points, Miriam, and say, be it as it may, proceed with the referendum. And the people of Kenya will vote no or yes. And then the matter will rest there. You cannot stop us from going to the referendum. You cannot.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Okay. Karanja, you threw a stone in the beehive. And the beehive today is Dr. or Professor Onyali. He has come back hitting you. He's telling you.
At the end that the people of Kenya win. We know the Kenyans will make the final decision.
Okay.
And the decision is ours.
Let me balance between my good professor. I know your anger. I know where your anger lies with the modus operandi of our people.
Right.
They are too slow, too lazy, too reactive. Even they can carry Ocampo. You know, you have forgotten this thing, man, Miriam. You have forgotten the culture we have here. Kibaki was going to close his office to meet Ocampo. You remember? Even that day when Ocampo came to town, Kibaki usually does not leave State House, but he had to come to Harambee House to meet. It was made like the town was, it was going to be made a public holiday because we were meeting Kofi Annan and Ocampo. A poor Matsanga 6.1 feet from a village, somewhere with jiggers and so many other things, came in and said Ocampo is useless. He wears one pajama, one trouser, one shoe. He rides a bicycle in The Hague. I don't care about the damn Ocampo. I finished him. What Onyali is saying, we don't have those type of Matangas. Am I wrong?
Right.
We don't have them. The judges did their homework, Mama. These guys are in a cabal. A cabal of activists.
Tell them.
They are in a beauty contest, Mama. Mama Kome. You said it yesterday, it's a beauty contest. Look at some of the judges, the hair. You have to look smart and come and make a ruling against Uhuru Kenyatta. Vindictive legal apparatus. Vindictive legal apparatus are met with vindictive political apparatus. That's what Onyali is saying. That's what Onyali is saying. Moto ni moto. Dawa ya moto ndio moto. Usiingize dawa ya moto na machozi. You want to cry, oh, the judges. No. Fire with fire. By now, if I were a Kenyan, I would be having an application paid. Even if they want 4 million, I would pay it in the High Court to file for the removal of the 5 judges. I have a ground why they lied. Onyali, my people outside there who now watch me internationally will not say Matanga was a liar. I want to read it for you, Article 143. Protection from legal proceedings. Criminal proceedings shall not be instituted or continued in any court against the president or a person performing the functions of that office during their tenure of office. This is the Kenya Constitution. When I said it was in my head. Now show me in the Kenya Constitution where a judge sitting in Nairobi tells Kenyans who were drinking their soda, beer, wine at their homes, that you can go in court of Kenya and sue Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta in his personal capacity. Rubbish, idiots. Stop. I don't want, Miriam, don't bring this topic again, because I can use very bad words. Some of us are very annoyed. I am not happy. I'm President Uhuru Kenyatta's supporter, and I'm not happy. You can't lie to Kenyans during the daytime that you can go and sue your president. A judge who was selected and who was paid salary, who reads this constitution, which says you cannot sue your president at any cost. Then you make a ruling, and it is in black and white. Isn't it written there? It is in the ruling. They said it. Am I wrong, Garanja?
You are right.
You are right.
Miriam, it is there. I can quote, I'll bring it for you out in a subsequent. It was well documented that what Kenyatta did can be sued. He can be sued in personal capacity. Then they went on calling Kenyatta, Uhuru Kenyatta, as if Kenyatta graces cows with them. Kenyatta does not grace cows in Athi River with them. The people of Kenya gave Kenyatta a dignity. We can't go on calling the judges Makau, Odunga, wewe, Odunga kuja hapa hapana. We call Honorable Judge Odunga with respect, decorum. Now, we are being told we should not abuse the court. Which court are we abusing? When the Chief Justice herself is admitting that there is a beauty contest. Isn't it? There is a beauty contest. The judge, the Chief Justice said yesterday, am I wrong, Mr. Onyari?
Yes, he said it.
She said, we are acting like there is a beauty contest to please the suitors. Like in the village, when you are trying to marry a girl, you try to polish your shoe more shinier. It shines like ndio upite. Unapita mara tatu. 3 times passing so that the girl, tall girls, I like tall ones. Tall girls. Me, I like tall ones. I've told you the truth. Tall girls, they hurt me, but I like them. And a tall girl who passes by me is my girl. Because I have a problem. Yeah, I'm very honest. And the time has come for me to lay it bare. I'm honest. When there is a tall girl, we can fight even if it is what? I like them. Because you know when you marry a short woman, you have a problem. You are all the time quarreling in the house. You know, a tall girl will look at you and say, wewe, aterere, wewe, enda upesi ulete na chai, hiyo maziwa na chine, hakuna kitu hapa. But marry a short woman kwa nyumba, utapata shida. You'll get a terrible time, even you can be thinking of the words she told you, you knock another car. So for me, I am honest. Beauty contest in the judiciary of Kenya is for real. And I thank the Chief Justice for coming without a wig. That yesterday, she looked beautiful. And she's going to make some people scream. Watasikurimu hapo. Iko watu, some of them have started packing their bags to go to exile. Because they are going to be locked forever. That lady is not joking. She's not going to joke. You know a lady who tells you that you are operating like a beauty contest. Atakufunga, utakuja, utacheka, utakufunga. So for me, a judge who goes to say that the president of Kenya should be sued and using our taxpayer, I don't know. You know, in normal, if I were in authority, I would have directed Kenya Power, the telecommunication, to switch off the lights. That's how governments work. Switch off. Wasome na kando. has come. I agree with Onyali now. Why did you allow these people to read us crap? You allowed them to traumatize us more. Our intestines were moving. We went to the toilet several times because of this stupid ruling. You know why? You switch off the light and make sure that the fuse is even thrown in the river. As the river it goes, so that it takes Kenya Power and a lightning. Short, longer time, 2 days for the ruling. Even if they bring a generator, you switch off also the generator. Time has come for government to act that way. Because if we don't have many days left, I'm sorry. We don't have
You are
many
talking,
days.
Dr. Masanga.
Eh?
You are talking.
We don't have many days left. Raila is a Kenyan. Uhuru Kenyatta Muliam is a Kenyan. You call them aliens who have come from planet Earth, Venice, who came to Kenya to interfere with your constitution? No. No. Even if you say you studied law in Harvard, which Harvard, then the teacher must have been a useless teacher. At least can these people tell you who their teachers were? I can tell you who my professor was. Yes, my professor from London Guildhall University. I know him. I know him by name up to today. But ask any of these judges to tell you the professor who was teaching them. They don't know because they went to America to be done some other activities. I don't want to say that. Hey, where? Don't try me there, Miriam. Let me keep decorum here. People went to school. How can you say, go and sue your president? 2, there is someone who said structure. What? A structure. Is this the 10 Commandments? That you cannot touch the structure. The overall sovereign is the Mwananchi Wanjiku. If Wanjiku can say the house is about to collapse because you put one brick like this bench, isn't it the structure? We need to make that bridge come. You don't refuse Wanjiku. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Surely.
You don't.
Then where does the basic structure come from? The doctrine of basic structure cannot be equated in Kenya. The doctrine of basic structure can be equated in the US and Malaysia and India because there is a middle class, a genuine middle class. The basic structure works in where there is social contract, Miriam. I've been talking to you about social contract. There is nowhere in Africa where a country has a social contract. Kenya, do you have a social contract? For you not to touch the basic structure, do you have a social contract? Douglas Kirimi, answer me. Do you have a check coming to you? If you don't have no employment, is there a check arriving at your door?
No, sir.
Wewe Karanja, uko na check iko wapi?
But you know, Doctor, the BBI is not starting
uko
with
na
the
check.
chapter 6
You
of our
have no
constitution.
this. Karanja, uko na check inakuja every Friday because you don't have employment.
Kenya
Imekuja kwa
hatujafika hapo.
no.
Kenya, we are still that one
Onyali.
struggling.
If Onyali was lecturing, he's lecturing and his job comes to a halt. That's Onyali in London. If Onyali was lecturing and his job comes to a halt, Onyali is paid weekly. Miriam, to look for a job weekly, he would be getting 210 pounds per week to encourage you to go in a bus and go and look for a job. That's what they call a social contract. That's a social contract. Britain has a social contract. You think the economy of Britain is good? No. But because it has a social contract, it has extra money to pay its people so that they now have no masks. They have removed the masks. Did you know that? They have. We have a problem in Africa, Miriam. And let's be honest, as Africans, we Africans are now saying, don't do You Africans are now saying, don't vaccinate. Miriam, you have seen so many people online telling you don't go for vaccination. Now I want to pose one question. Ms. Onyari, you think a Muzungu is very stupid to vaccinate 100 million people, his population, to die? Is a Muzungu very... No, I'm asking a sober question. A Muzungu is very stupid to vaccinate 100 million people in Britain and tell them now you are free, remove the masks. You can walk and go and do your work, but continue washing your hands. A Muzungu is stupid.
It's not.
And he sends you free medicine called Oxford AstraZeneca. He sends you free. You are not buying. You are not buying, Miriam. You are being given free to look after your health. Then you, an African, seated here, say, sijui now, inaharibu my productive parts. Why? Oh, it touches ovaries. Oh, I cannot produce children. So, you wait.
If you die, you will produce them.
Yeah. If the grave is being dug, you will produce them in the grave. People are not honest. The Ministry of Health in Kenya is collecting medicine from the remote clinic centers, dispensaries. Karanja, am I wrong? People have refused to do. In Uganda, the Minister of Health was crying tears that you, my people, are going to die. You don't want, but the woman was crying on TV that I tell you, you people, Ugandans, you are going to regret, you will die. Take this medicine. They are collecting medicines back. You are a poor, a man who doesn't know how to spell science. A person in Mulanda, in Mount Elgon, Cheptais, who doesn't even know the word science, is also saying, I hear science in a sema. So, well, you don't even know how to spell science. The only place you have gone to is Cheptais. Then you are saying, I don't want the vaccine. You wait. When the vaccine gets lost, then the figures start running up. You will see how many people line about the clinic which is empty. And there are no drugs. And there is no vaccine. Wait in a few months. July will tell you, Miriam, that what this man here, who is not near Prophet Elijah, said, you will see. Is India not reeling? The Indians were giving out medicine thinking.
Are they not crying? They are crying.
Now, today, India would like to bring back even that medicine. There is no oxygen. No oxygen. No oxygen in India. So, let's be honest. The judges erred. The judges set a pace for destroying Kenya. Don't have mercy with them. They created, Miriam, what we call colored legislation. A colored legislation is dangerous in this state. Another hard channel. You know, Onyali, Douglas, Makaranja, and Miriam. Have you thought about this? And I want you to start thinking. You are told don't change the constitution. You are told you can't use even the parliament to change it. And then you are left with the journal, the route that the judges want, which is the hard route of regime change. If you can't change the constitution, if you can't, you are going to lead the country to chaos. You can't hold an election. Kenyatta will be forced to extend the parliament up to February 2023 in anticipation of creating all the things that the judges wanted. Then hold an election. Have you seen what has happened in Mali this morning? Have you seen? Who is doing it? The same civil society, the French. These guys came from France. As soon as they arrived at the airport, they were arrested. The president of France, of Mali, was arrested, taken to Kuti barracks. All of them, Minister of Defense, Prime Minister, President, are under key and lock. They are urinating in the barracks. Is that what you want in this country? The judges are setting a pace for taking you there, Miriam. I submit, and thank you very much this morning for watching me. Thank you very much. I hope the pictures are very clear. I don't know what Miriam hasn't said it. It's very clear picture direct from wherever I am in the Africa Political Command Center now. I'm on the ground, and thank you very much. God bless you, all of you. But that is my view. So Karanja, Professor has a point. We are poor workmen. We work and work women. We work badly. We've let down our president. Yes. If you can't do it, you could have sent me to switch off that light and go away. And then the judges take 10 days. Then by 10 days, you have found out what the judgment is. You send people to steal their dog. That's what I did to Ocampo. Yes, I stole documents left and right from Vesuda. Aliona niko kwa gazette, Negwang. Didn't you see at the time this Onyali was saying, where did you get this? Didn't you? I steal documents from them. You have to act as a state. You can't allow these guys. These guys have a program. You see the way Raila is now lamenting. If Raila was in government, we would have got those judgments. That is a guerrilla fighter. Gorillas don't wait. Look at the way Museveni yesterday selected. Have you seen? I hope, Miriam, you are watching Uganda television yesterday. Very interesting. The man came to explain how he stole the election. Yes, he told the MPs that I had to call them in the morning that don't vote for Kadaga. You know? So we must take action of that nature. We can't wait for these judges to make such silly rulings. Stupid. And I thank the Chief Justice for denying Zomba wa Zongo wa Zanga wa Zaire. This man from Zaire called, I don't know whether it's from Zaire or Kagamega, called have a Nelson, have a kwa Zanga wa Zabanga wa Zengo, Seko Seko. He was denied audience. That's very good. Teach him manners. So, Miriam, a beauty contest still looms and the struggle continues. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And that is where we end our show this morning. We shall be back at 11 a.m. and look at the judiciary. Yesterday, the Chief Justice, Kome, urges judges to resist state capture. That and what else did she say yesterday? And is it a new dawn in the Kenyan judiciary? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Professor Jared Onyari, Jevan Karanja, Douglas Kiviri, and of course, Dr. David Matanga. My name is Miriam Mogutu. A very good morning to you.